This is why I use 130-pound leader material. Boys and maybe one girl. I doubt there's a girl watching this. YouTube tells me that 100% of my viewers are all male. I'm okay with that. So I don't care if I'm having a bad hair day. And today is July 21st. Striper fishing in the Western Sound where I am. It's definitely slowed down a bit, but that doesn't mean the fish aren't here. Normally I'll abandon the tube and worm around this time, or even earlier normally, but now that I'm making these, I'm going to use them and try to catch at least one striper every time I go fishing, just to show you guys that these things always work. You just have to do it right and cover the right areas. And, you know, it always pays off when you put in the time. For this season, I had a paddle kayak, so my rod was in the rod holder most of the time, and it was just a lot easier to troll than it is to go to a certain type of structure and cast at it. So that's why I got good at it, and now it's even easier now that my hands are free. I have my jig on this rod, the Tango Field and Stream. I'm pretty sure I had one of these a few years ago, and I snapped it when I was snagged up. I just yanked too hard on the snag, and it literally cracked the whole pole. But I got it at Dick's for like 35 bucks. And it was $7 for the insurance for 2 years. I'm like, 2 years? Thing ain't lasting 2 months, so let me try it. If I break it, I'll just get a new one. I break a lot of rods, when I'm transporting, fishing, I break a lot of stuff. A lot of times it's just when I'm getting it in and out of the car. So yeah, I'm gonna troll for a little bit, go try to drop some worms on the jig, and maybe bounce the metals a little bit. But hopefully I can get a nice striper today. It's been really slow last time out. I only got like 3 or 4 fish. The biggest was like 27. Stay tuned, guys. Hopefully this is a good one. I forgot to tell you why I abandoned the tube and worm this time of year. It's mostly because of porgies. They'll steal all your worms or gulp whatever you're tipping it with. Even the bluefish too. I like to use sandworms, but there's one guy I know, his name's Dom, who has been using the prophecy pipe and has been pulling in monster fish without tipping it with anything. He is out on his boat, he's in much deeper water, but it's pretty awesome to see him pulling in such big fish. One of them was like 46 inches, over 40 pounds. Oh, fish just hit that. It might have been a porgy. I don't know if you guys saw that. Anyway, yeah, I just lost my worm just like that. I'm just assuming that was a porgy. It could have been a striper. You know what? Let me put on the jig and drop down, see what's there. That way I don't waste any more time trolling over it if it's just a porgy and not a striper. The way that fish was tugging on it, if I had to put money on it, I'd say it was a porgy. This right here is, I think, a 1 ounce banana head jig. Just like half a sandworm on it. Not great for him. It's important. This is like my favorite way to fish, because you never know what you're gonna get. That's a nice, fresh ocean porgy. The meat on these guys is gonna be so much whiter. You go on a party boat and people catch tons of these porgies, and you want a live line fish, live line a porgy this time of year, catch a nice big striper that way. But anyway, yeah, people fill up buckets of these fish, and they don't put them on ice. You bleed that thing out, you put it on ice. I'll show an image of what it's supposed to look like, because that meat can be whiter than fluke meat. I'm telling you, porgy meat can be some of the most delicious meat. The meat is white, like perfectly white. It doesn't feel like anything, and then sometimes it fucking hurts. I'm not gonna lie to you. But if you're nervous about that, cut the head off. Just cut the head right off the worm, even though I don't like to do that because I think there's a lot more juice and meat in the head. And like, since the porgies are here, I'm gonna cut off most of this and save it. had my tube on like the surface of the water, and I turn around and a striper is right there about to like hit it. It was coming up because I guess he could smell the sandworm, and he dove back down, swirled everywhere. You know, my sandworm was only like 3 inches in the water, and he smelled it and came up, you know, probably only like 5 or 6 feet from the bottom, and was about to take it right in front of me. That was, I wish I had that on film. Tube's a lot bigger than him. I got the underwater camera on right now. These guys are the reason I usually stop using the tube and worm rig this time of year. There's just so many porgies down there. First you'll see this in slow motion and then regular speed. Watch how fast it happens. So a lot of fish have done this to me this year. But most of the time they're dragging me into the rocks. This guy just ran to the ground and tried to break me off against the ground. It didn't work, and he exerted himself. He was done right after that, and I brought him right to the surface. The fight was over in less than 2 minutes. This fish was only 41 inches long, but he's one of the heaviest fish I've ever caught in my life. I was really impressed with the weight of this fish. In the future, I'm going to have a scale to measure these guys. Real fish on the camera. Real fish. I can't even reel him on this little reel. How big is he? He's a nice fish. Didn't set the hook at all. Just kept trolling. I just hooked him. Oh man, he's a nice fish. Looks like 40 inch. I didn't get a great look, but he looks like he's yeah, high 30s, close to 40. A really nice fish. Beautiful. Had a little piece of a sandworm on it. Great fish for this time of year. I don't have the lip grippers. Really good fish. He's hooked good. Damn, he's a heavy fish. This is a heavy ass fish. Holy shit. Oh, he's heavy. He's heavy. He's heavy. Really fucking heavy. It's like a 40 pounder. Really nice fish. Let's get a quick measurement. Get him back in the water. Hooked him good. 0 over here. He's 41. 41.
This is why I either file my barbs down smaller or just completely crush them. I bought a new set of pliers the next day. They're completely rusted. I couldn't even open them, and the angle that I was using to get them in there just wasn't working. In the future, I'm going to have them in the pocket on my life vest. I'll never let this happen again.
You fucking kidding me right now? It's been out of the water too long. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I didn't crush the barb on there. Can't even open the pliers. Dude, what the fuck? Holy shit. He looks bigger than 40, man. He's a nice fish. Gotta retie that because it was rubbing up against the scales. I can't believe that thing bit really hard. That was awesome. I got that on camera. Hopefully you can see it. Easily 40 pounds. That's a heavy fish. No, it still looks really good. That was the longest I've had a fish out of the water this whole year. So sick. So sick. That's as far as I could reel with this leader. Soak my glasses. He looks like a slot fish. You have to make sure you got a grip on him. Nice fish. Probably a slot. Not gonna measure, I'm gonna get him right back in. That was cool. That's all I really had on the hook. I had a little bit hanging off. Like that much hanging off. That's all I really had. I'm eating the turkey leg. I was gonna use this for bait, but I didn't really do any bottom fishing. Did a little bit. But that 40, man, I got hit on my first pass by the rock, and it came back around again, and he hammered it. Not a world record, definitely a nice fish, awesome to see, and gonna keep me trolling even longer now. So I know my window is closing. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please tell your friends. And that's it. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, and please tell your friends. That's the most important thing. Sharing is caring. Please show that you care about me, because I care about you. I want you to catch more fish and bigger fish than I've got. What kind of video would it be if I didn't end it with a fart?